Ukraine is now staring down the 4th anniversary of the full-scale invasion. But this isn't a milestone for celebration, it's a grim testament to sheer endurance. Because when your only goal is just to survive, anniversaries, well, they don't really matter.
So let's set the scene. The date is February 16, 2026. For millions of people, this isn't just another day on the calendar. No, it's another day fighting a war on two fronts, one against an invading army and the other against the raw, brutal elements. And those elements are absolutely unforgiving. We're talking minus 20 degrees Celsius across the northern and eastern parts of the country. That isn't just cold, that's a weapon. And it's a weapon being deliberately sharpened by a strategy of total darkness.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the grim reality of this fourth winter and the siege on the power grid. Then we'll look at the very human cost, a new displacement crisis, and how Ukraine is hitting back. We'll also pull back to see the diplomatic chessboard, and finally, we'll confront the staggering human cost of it all. Right, first up, the fourth winter of war. For the 30 million people still inside Ukraine, life has been stripped down to its most basic element, just getting through the day. Anniversaries feel like a lifetime away when the real threat is the cold seeping through your walls and the darkness that just won't lift.
And that darkness, let's be crystal clear, this is not a system failure. This is a tactic. The country's grid operator is being forced to enact rolling blackouts, hour after hour, pretty much everywhere. This is deliberate, and it's the direct result of an assault on a scale we haven't seen before.
Which brings us to the very heart of this winter crisis, a calculated, relentless siege on Ukraine's power grid. We're not just talking about the front lines anymore. This is about turning every apartment, every home, into its own frozen battleground for survival.
Just wrap your head around these numbers. In the last week alone, Russia has launched 1,300 strike drones. Can you even imagine the sound of that? The sheer volume?
Then you add another 1,200 guided aerial bombs, each one aimed with precision to take out a piece of critical infrastructure. And on top of all of that, another 50 missiles, just for good measure, slamming into their targets. And get this, all of it happened in just 7 days. That's over 2,500 strikes in a single week. This is not random. It is a systematic, methodical attempt to completely dismantle the systems that keep a country running, especially in the dead of winter.
There is actually a name for this new strategy: combined terror. And what's different now is that they're not just hitting the big power plants. No, they are methodically taking out the substations, the transmission lines, basically the arteries and veins of the entire grid. The goal is to make it impossible to move power from where it's made to where it's needed. It's a devastatingly smart tactic. Now, you're going to want to stay with us to the end because the full picture here is truly shocking. All right, let's get back to the analysis.
And this quote from an analyst at Ukrenergo it hits the nail right on the head. They put it so plainly: Russia is weaponizing winter. The goal isn't just to make people uncomfortable. It's to make life so impossible, so unbearable, that millions are forced to pack up and leave their homes, creating a whole new crisis inside the country.
And what happens when you make cities unlivable? You get exactly this: a new wave of displacement. And it's just heartbreaking, because this time people aren't fleeing shelling. They're fleeing the cold, fleeing the darkness in cities that are supposed to be safe.
325,000. That's the number. The International Organization for Migration is warning that out of the millions who had already returned home, hoping the worst was over, 325,000 of them could be forced to leave all over again.
I mean, just try to put yourself in their shoes for a second. You survive the invasion, you go home, you start to rebuild your life from scratch, and now you have to leave again because there's no heat, no light, no running water. As the head of the IOM said, resilience isn't infinite, it has a breaking point, and this winter is pushing it to the absolute edge.
But here's the thing. Even as that resilience is being tested, Ukraine isn't just sitting back and taking it. They are actively punching back. They're targeting the two things that fuel the Russian war machine: its money and its military. This is about making them pay a price.
And the strategy is basically a 1-2 punch. On one side, you have these deep strikes on crucial economic targets, like the port of Taman. On the other side, you have precision hits on really high-value military gear, like the Panzer S-1 air defense system, trying to poke holes in their defenses.
Let's just zoom in on that Taman strike for a moment. Hitting an oil terminal there isn't just about starting a big fire. See, Taman is the main gateway to Crimea. It's a massive logistics hub. So when you hit it, you're not just burning fuel, you're directly attacking Russia's ability to fund the war and to supply its troops. It is a direct shot at their economic engine.
Okay, so while all this chaos is unfolding on the ground, there's a whole other war being fought. This one is happening at negotiating tables and in quiet backrooms all over the world. It's a high-stakes chess match, where drones are flying while diplomats are talking.
So here's a quick rundown of where things stand. The talks in Abu Dhabi, completely deadlocked on the land for peace idea. All eyes are now turning to Geneva, but things are incredibly tense. And then you have Munich, which offered a rare bit of good news. Key leaders agreed on a major emergency aid package. The only problem? It's now a race against time to actually get it there.
But you know, when you strip away all the strategy, the diplomacy, and the geopolitics, what you're left with is numbers. And the one number that overshadows everything else is the truly unimaginable human cost. According to the Ukrainian General Staff, total Russian combat losses just passed 1.25 million. Now look, we can argue about the exact precision of that number, but honestly, that's not the point. The point is the sheer scale. It's a number so large it's hard to comprehend. It's a tragedy of historic proportions.
Russia recently claimed it captured a tiny village, and it just forces you to ask this one haunting question: at what cost? How many more people have to die for a few hundred meters of frozen ground? That is the brutal calculus of a war that is now grinding through its fourth winter.
This situation is changing, literally by the hour. If you want to stay on top of it with clear, no-nonsense analysis, make sure you subscribe. And check out the explainer that's coming up on your screen right now. Thanks for watching.